Which pen should I use? Don't flex? Couple of them here.
Hi, Colin. Please rise, join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gentlemen, with everything going on, the days are running together. I did not wear pink today.
Well, we're gonna let it slide. I don't think there's been we've all been guilty of that one time or another. So, well, that's pretty much on the back burner. I wouldn't worry. Des Moines County Board of Supervisors, Tuesday, April 7th. Are there any changes to the, once again, we're on digital, so you're listening to me either online or phone line, so if you can't hear, let us know. Are there any changes to the tentative agenda?
I have none.
I have none.
I have none. I have an agenda. Meet with department heads, elected officials. Terry Johnson, Des Moines County Auditor.
Good morning. Just an update on the elections for the precincts. We are going to, because of the COVID-19, we are reducing the number of precincts from 16 down to 2. We're going to, the primary is usually not a large turnout, but what we're going to do is the south half of the county is going to go to SEC. Rodney and I went and looked at SEC's Health and Sciences building yesterday, and they've got a large entry hallway that we can move everybody down, and they have a large lecture room that if somebody wants to sit down and fill out their ballot, they can. So they've got plenty of room there. But anyway, it's going to be all the city of Burlington, West Burlington, Flint River, Middletown, and Danville Township will be going to SEC. And then everybody in the northern part of the county will be going to Minneapolis City Hall. So that would be Pleasant Grove, Washington Township, Franklin Township, City of Minneapolis, Yellow Spring Township, Huron, Jackson, and Benton Township. So I'll be going to the city of City Hall, Minneapolis City Hall. And then, well, of course, we're encouraging everybody to vote absentee. And the Secretary of State is sending out absentee request forms, and they're either mailing them out the 23rd or the 24th, or they'll start arriving at every registered voter's house on the 23rd, the 24th, through the 28th. They said it'll be several days. So.
What day is the deadline? And I can't see the calendar.
For what, requesting
For what? Election day is what, June?
June 2nd is the primary.
2nd, okay.
And the last day to request an absentee ballot to be mailed is May the 22nd.
May the 22nd.
And, but, well, we're still working out the logistics for having in-person voting. You know, I don't know for sure what the requirements are from the Secretary of State. Rodney and I talked about possibly setting a tent up in the lower parking lot. Or, you know, if anybody comes up, putting our little placards out there that, you know, that you can request curbside voting. So those are some of the options there.
Okay.
That's what we're working on right now.
Thanks, Terry. Colin Gerst, man of the hour, IT.
Just keeping busy like always. Nothing really new to report. For the department heads that are on the line, I know a lot of them are using video conferencing, like Zoom and that. I want to reiterate, make sure that if you are using video conferencing, you have some kind of password on there. Keep it as secure as you can, you know, that way, because I've been reading a lot of stuff online with not just Zoom, but other video teleconferencing. They don't have passwords on a lot of these meetings, and they're kind of getting trolled and bombarded, you know, with different things. So always good to try to keep it as, you know, locked down as secure as you can. So.
Is that why I couldn't, I got into the health department meeting and watched it, but I couldn't hear them.
You couldn't hear them?
Couldn't hear them. I was bouncing, not hitting a button, but I had, you know, there were several emails went out in that time frame.
Mhm.
And I started out with one I thought I ought to be, I thought I was plenty early. And I started hitting buttons and no getting anywhere. Finally, I found one that worked and opened me up and got in, but by that time, the meeting was running, and I didn't go any farther because I didn't want to interrupt them. I knew what they were saying, but.
Just give me a call next time. I don't know. Did you dial in, or were you trying to listen to it over the
I was
phone?
gonna dial in, like you said in that one email, and then I couldn't find that one again.
Okay.
So, I guess I was unprepared, but I found the one and I could see the pictures. I could see him sitting up here just reading away, but.
That meeting is, on the Des Moines County, YouTube, and if you want, I can give you a link if you wanna listen to everything that they said during the board meeting too.
I'll plan farther ahead next time, so.
All right.
I know it works, because I've been to plenty of them, but it's a good deal.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Colin. Brian Carter, Secondary Roads.
Sorry. Different things going on. Good morning. A lot of stuff either going on or getting ready to start up. I've hit a lot of it in the past. I say it every Tuesday hoping people pay attention, and then you always catch people off guard either way. We've done press releases, we've sent out letters, but supposedly, although they hadn't been on site yet, Mediapolis Road will close today for the bridge projects.
And that'd be about 4 months, you said one time?
4 to 5 is what
4 to
we're
5
telling people.
months.
Yep. I'm sure it just depends on weather, but somewhere in that ballpark. Hope to have it open before harvest. That's the plan. Don't see why that shouldn't happen, I guess, at this point. So that's starting up. Deer Avenue is underway. Hoping to do the first paving this week, maybe tomorrow or Thursday, again, depending on weather. So that's moving. That'll be the far north end where we start. They've already got it ready, actually. And then
Just proceed south.
they'll work. There's quite a bit of work at the intersection because we're keeping that intersection open. That's a dead end gravel road. We have to keep people in and out. But yes, and they'll continue to proceed south. So and then next Monday, first thing Monday morning, the 13th, they will close Iowa City Road, and they will start that project.
What date's that? 13th?
Week from yesterday.
I believe it's, yes, a week from yesterday. I believe that's the 13th.
Yes.
Yes, it is. So their intention is to close and get going right away.
And how long the project's at?
It's got 45 working days, so it's about 2.5 months, but the paving part of it, if the contractor really gets things moving the way they're talking about, I could see that project going quicker. Now, the paving might get done and then it might be slow getting shoulders put in, but as far as the residents there, hopefully that paving can get done and the farmers, and we can get the driveways connected, and then they'll go back to normal.
I thought the paving should probably go fairly quickly.
The road being closed isn't the end of the world, to be honest with you. There's a few residents, as long as we keep them in and out, and the farmers can get in and out without substantial delay. The gypsum plant traffic, they can go around and use the highway. Nobody needs to cut through there, again, other than just the locals. So yeah, that project's gonna get going also. And, yeah, and we're working on, I guess I'll mention, we're working on 3 different bids. 2 of them will mail out hopefully tomorrow, for Upper Flint and Stars Cape. We'll bid those, I'll get with Terry, but they'll be on April 30th. I don't remember the time, to be honest with you, but I'll get with you on that. And then the other one is the Flint Creek Bridge on Highway 99. And that one is, let's see, 30th. Terry, the 30th is scheduled at 1:30. And then that bid would be on the 7th.
Flint Creek's on it.
Flint Creek would be on the 7th, and that's at 1:30 also.
So that May 7th?
Yeah. Colin, I'm gonna need to get with you, like on these agendas, you give a web address and everything. I wanna put that on the bid documents if possible, and I'm not sure how I'll do it, because we need to mail those 2 bids out tomorrow, but I'd like to, those are bigger bids, and I'd like to have something available if contractors want to watch. So, so I might get with you today and see if there's any way we can come up with an address, otherwise I'll mail them out and we'll deal with it later.
Yeah,
So,
we can do that.
anyway, the 7th is the other one, that's Flint Creek Bridge. I'm still working on time frame and stuff and trying to get that documentation put together. There's a lot more documentation for that project.
Oh, we try to give them 3 weeks after the drawings to bid that, or?
Yeah, ballparkish, yep. You can give them 3 months, but they won't look at it till a week before.
Well, I understand
I think
that.
he understands that, you know,
Yeah.
he used to do that.
So, I mean, we're, obviously, it's a little tighter on the first 2, but they're smaller projects, honestly, and not real involved projects. And so what we're doing is, since these are local bid openings, we're kind of, the DOT's still holding regular bid openings, and they hold it mid-month, every month. And so we tuck our local ones in between, because if we put it at the same date, the contractors complain about it conflicting with all the other bids they've got to get ready. So I try to span it right between, give or take, between the DOT's bids. And we will advertise these on the DOT's advertisement pages. So we'll have it advertised more than even statewide, but since they're local bids, I go right between them, so that we don't spread contractors too thin on getting bids ready.
I'm assuming those don't require any materials, long lead time, or hard to get materials on that bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Does it?
Yeah, but they can't start work till November at the earliest.
But I mean, long lead time, but I mean, it's nothing the prices will be readily available for.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the biggest issue there will obviously there's concrete involved, but that's easy, is the beams. Those have to go to the precast plants and get competitive numbers on their
Yeah.
beams. Otherwise, it's still just a bridge project.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, and as far as I know, all that industry is still moving along and going, so, yeah, we're moving, and all sorts of other stuff going on. We do have some kind of new policies at the shop, just trying to keep people separate, and we are still moving. So, doing a lot of ditching. South Gear right now, we are ditching on, just to give you a heads up. So things are going.
Them beams on, Flint Creek, now they're gonna be, cast cement beams like.
Yes, they will be. That's one of the reasons that the new bridge will be about 4 foot higher than the old bridge.
Yeah.
Is that we are gonna clear span. There'll be one less pier, because right now there's a pier square in the middle of the creek.
Yeah.
And we're gonna clear span, the actual water channel. So there'll be, obviously, the abutments on both ends, but then there'll be 2 piers, and those piers will be on each side of the current water channel. And those beams are, I believe, the longest precast beams you can buy, but they're also 4 to 5 foot tall. They're just massive.
How long are they?
155, I want to say off the top of my head. I'm probably off a little bit,
You
but.
won't get so many trees cut on the piers if they aren't there.
We won't be collecting trees, and that will help the levee, to
Yeah.
keep that erosion and stuff from happening. It'll help the flow. It will greatly improve flow, because the only time you catch trees is when you have high flow, which is the worst time to back water up. So we will actually, I think there will be a significant difference in water flow through the structure, just because of that, although it's not really measurable. But anyway, it's a little different, because normally on bridges, they're kind of, they're the same. The beams are all the same length, your spans are the same length. We have 3 different spans and 3 different lengths. So that's a little different animal, but it's just beams either way. So, yeah, we're working on that. I am working on time frame stuff to try to get us the best, prices. So, and to still try to get the project done by harvest. So there's a possibility, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna probably move my late start dates back to the beginning of April. And we're gonna offer the winter as free winter work. And then our working days will fit in just from April to the beginning of, roughly into that August timeframe, hoping that they take advantage of the free winter work and obviously wrap up earlier. So just trying to keep our bids as competitive as possible, keep our costs down. So, I'll give you guys a better idea, I don't have that all locked down yet.
I've got a question on another subject. Half all the sales tax revenue we get goes to secondary roads.
Yes.
Have you, had a chance to think about any effect? I don't have any idea. I think the city council, Burlington City Council was talking about a 10% hit. That doesn't sound very, that sounds kinda light to me.
I guess I would agree. I heard that 10% number this morning
Yeah.
through secondhand, not because of what the council did. I had Julie looking at it. I mean, I haven't spent a lot because there's just so many what-ifs with everything. I guess what I'll tell you is, my intention for backing off spending, because we will see, I suspect we'll probably see, hands down, the biggest hit of the county. Probably, you could take any hit of the entire county, add it together, it wouldn't hit what we're gonna see as far as loss. Now, there's talk about stimulus coming from the federal level. Anybody that's been involved with that knows that can be a nightmare. It doesn't mean we'll see any money.
Could be 15 years down the line by the time they sort it through.
And by the time they screw around with it, it could all go to special projects and not, I mean, you just don't know. There's no guarantees, I guess, is what I'm saying with any of that. But there is talk about stimulus, but taking all that off the books, and I'm looking at this because Julie actually just texted me. I had her doing, a little bit, but, gosh, I hate to make up numbers, but I suppose between the local option sales tax and then the road use tax, that's what you don't think about for us.
Yep.
I suppose we could see $1 million drop. I don't know, I mean, that's just a random number more than anything. But my intention is we have the Flint Bottom project we haven't bid yet, that we've been talking about for years, which was estimated between 2.4, 2.5 million in that ballpark. Obviously the road needs it, but if we have to, we'll cut that project way back to make up the money. I mean, that's just the life we're in, so, if push comes to shove, that is the project, that is the big ticket project that we're not planning on bidding until this coming fall or winter, that we will look at scaling back. So it may be, we were gonna do 2 9/10 of a mile segments.
Mm-hmm.
We may end up having to subtract half of that and only bid half. Like, unknown, but that is the project if you wanted, I was gonna mention that during construction program just briefly, so I guess I'll say it now. That's where any loss in revenue we have is probably coming out of new construction. That is our big ticket item this year and next year, and we've already bid a lot of work already this year, and we're not gonna scale that back in the middle of the project, so.
And I just throwing that out there, and
It's reality.
According to DOT, car traffic is down substantially, but truck traffic is apparently
Truck
the
traffic
same
is
as
going normal, but
normal.
consumption is down 40 or 50%.
Is it?
Or maybe it was revenue. I don't remember which statistic it was, but we'll see a far bigger hit from road use than we will from local
Yeah.
option sales. Both will hit us. Both are used in new construction, so it's justifiable to scale that back, and that's exactly what we will do. We have too big of a picture and too big of a system to scale back on buying rock. You just sell yourself short in the long term. So my intention, unless the board wants me to do different, is to cut back on new construction. And Flint Bottom, that project is what we will cut back on. We'll just see what happens. And if there is stimulus money and we can apply it to the Flint Bottom project or something like that, then we'll backfill and adjust scope and go from there. We'll adjust.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Rodney Gleason, maintenance.
Good morning. We had some unplanned maintenance, to do on the front doors of the courthouse, so, this morning, we're doing a little bit of work there, so I'd like to encourage everybody, it kind of just come up, so, I'd like to encourage everybody to use the south, entry and exit as much as possible, so. It'll still be usable, but, we're gonna have to do a little bit of work there. It just would be easier so they didn't have to trip over us in and out to use the south, entry and exit for at least today, maybe tomorrow. Hoping to get it finished up by the end of the day, but we'll see how it goes. So other than that, just staying busy with lots of different things. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thanks, Rodney.
Thanks, Rod.
Who we got?
Chris Lee, Conservation.
Chris Lee, Conservation.
Good morning. So yesterday, the Iowa's governor, in her newest proclamation, closed down campgrounds. The DNR put out a press release as to how it will affect state parks. Our intention basically is to follow the same mechanisms that they are. Our parks and trails will remain open, but our campgrounds, all of our buildings, including our outhouses, had already been shut. Our campgrounds now are closed, and our playgrounds are closed, which they had been anyway. We are going to shut off our reservation system and not take any campsite reservations for Big Hollow through the month of May, because we just don't know how long this is going to last, and it's a heck of a lot easier to just not take the reservation rather than issue refunds later. We do have, like I said, our parks and trails, you know, our boat ramps, like up at Big Hollow, Skunk River and stuff like that, and our trails are still open and will remain so until we're told otherwise. We do have signage up at all of our main trail entrances. It's signage that was developed by the National Recreation Parks Association. We put those up, and basically, you know, it says, keep your distance and stay home if you're sick and all that type of stuff that we've been hearing for a month now. Our parks have been very, very busy. Prior to the campground closure that the governor put out yesterday, this last weekend we had 18 campers up at Big Hollow, and we were on track to probably push near 30 this coming weekend, but then they shut down all campgrounds, so we had to kick everybody out. I think we probably still had half a dozen campers up there as of yesterday. Frankly, I've never seen this many people out on our trails this time of year, or at any time of year really, let alone here in early April. I think, you know, folks are cooped up inside. You know, they're stuck at home during the day, and they're really needing those ways to get out and stretch their legs and get the exercise and the sunshine that they need for them and their family. And going out into county parks where we have, you know, large areas where they can spread out, you know, maintain that social distancing, but still get out and get some fresh air is important to a lot of people, and that's pretty obvious that folks are taking advantage of that. And so, you know, we're doing our best to stay apprised of the developing situation and you know, keep things functional for folks. And you know, we encourage folks to come out and use the parks and the trails. Just, you know, follow the recommendations and keep your distance. If you are sick, you know, stay home. And just know that all the facilities are closed, so we don't have any outhouses open. There's nowhere to wash your hands or anything like that, so bring your own sanitizer, your own wipes, whatever. Just know that there are no developed facilities available in any of our parks right now.
I know this just came up yesterday, but this is gonna have an effect on your revenues. So I know you probably haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but if you'd wanna take a look at that sometime, I might give you a call.
Certainly.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
I have Gina Harden with Emergency Management on here, and I believe she's with Krista Poggenmiller from Public Health as well.
Gina Harden, Emergency Management, and Krista Poggenmiller, Public Health. Good morning.
She remuted herself. She's probably trying to turn off her speakerphone.
Gina Harden, Emergency Management.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can. There's a little echo there.
Can you hear us now?
Just the same as before. Are you on a speakerphone?
Come back.
Gina, we are going to come back to you. Maybe you can just get
Okay, we thought we had this figured out, so we're going to try this again.
Okay, that
Can you
works,
hear us?
right, that works great. We can hear you now.
So do we hang up on this and just dial in the phone? Yeah, let's do that.
No, well, we can you hear me?
Oh.
Gina, can you hear me?
She just left the call.
She just left the call, okay. Who's next?
Brett Grimshaw, Sheriff's Office.
Brett Grimshaw, Des Moines County Sheriff's Office. Brett, can you hear us?
Hey, Tom, I'll jump in there. I don't think Brett can talk to you. He can listen.
Hi, Mike. Mike Johnstone, Des Moines County Sheriff.
I know Brett was going to listen in. I just wanted to say everything is going well at the SO. We're all healthy, which I'm very thankful for. We're doing a lot of social distancing over there. We're not allowing more than 1 or 2 people in the office at any given time. So it's going very well. We're still doing everything we need to do. We're working full patrols, full investigations, and everything we need to do on a daily basis. Rotating our office staff in and out of the office so they're keeping their distances. And I really want to thank Colin for everything he has done. He's been a tremendous help to us. And also Gina and Krista for everything they're doing, getting us the PPE that we need and those kind of things. So thankfully, I don't have a lot to say today, except for just continuing on and hoping everything goes well.
Thank you, Mike. You and your guys take care.
Thanks, Tom.
Ken Heidman, Community Services.
Ken Heinman, Community Services.
Yeah, hi, this is Ken. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. Our contracts are ending on June 30th like they always do, so it's contracting time of year. We've had 3 contract meetings this past week over the Zoom, and they're working out well. We have about 15 current contracts that we need to renew, and then we'll probably have more contracts for the additional services the state is requiring. We may have some contracts with other regions to work on this year. Tomorrow we're going to have our SEAL meetings, and there's no 9 o'clock change agent meeting. That's been canceled. But there is a 10 o'clock, like a technical assistance meeting to get everybody on and see how the Zoom is going to work for the meetings of the governing board. So at 10 o'clock we'll do technical assistance and talk about electronic voting procedures. And then at 1:30 we'll have our Zoom meeting for the governing board. So Ryan sent out invitations to all those. I'll need to talk with Ryan about how she wants the claims to be signed tomorrow, because normally I bring those with me to the meeting when we did face-to-face meetings. And we'll figure that out and get those signed once the governing board approves them.
Ryan emailed me and asked me if I could get those signed so they didn't have to go to another county and be transported and all that problem. I told her I would be willing to do that. The board will have to approve that, so we'll be able to get them signed right here in Des Moines County.
Oh, great. Yeah, once they approve it, we can just put those in your box, Tom.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Ken.
Jackie Myers, Clerk of Court.
Jackie Myers, Clerk of Court.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. The only difference we're open. The only change we've had since last week's meeting is that I'm also alternating my staff 1 week on, 1 week off, so that, trying to prevent wiping out a whole office if someone comes down or experiences symptoms. We are operating out of the first floor office, so there's nobody up in district court right now. I did have all of the phone calls that come into the district court office. They automatically roll down to us, so we're not missing any phone calls or anything like that, but we're still operating the best we know how. in providing service to folks, limiting the access only by appointments only, and hearings basically on emergency type basis, and on as needed in compliance with the Chief Justice's recent orders. So that's really all I have. Everybody's safe and healthy. As of right now, I do have some staff that are on leave or are working from home. So we have limited staff, but we're doing the best we know how.
Thank you, Jackie. Ken, are you still there? Ken Heinman?
It shows he's still on the call.
Yes, I am.
We got a question from the Hawkeye. Will the CO meeting be streamed? And if so, where?
Yes. Yeah, it's a Zoom meeting. I can, if I have an address for the Hawkeye reporter, I could have Ryan send an email invitation.
Well, let me do this. Leia's listening. If probably she can hear me a little easier. What is your phone number so she can call, the Hawkeye can call?
Yeah, my number is 754-8556, extension 2504.
Crap. That broke my pen. 754 what?
754-8556.
8556, extension what?
2504.
Okay, so it's phone number, Ken Heinman's phone number is 754-8556, extension 2504. Thank you, Ken.
That's correct. Yep.
Janelle Nally Longquist, Des Moines County Treasurer.
Janelle Nally Longquist, Des Moines County Treasurer.
Good morning. I just want to mention that with last Thursday, April 2nd, Governor Reynolds extended her proclamation, and within that is the suspension of interest and penalty on the second half or the March installment of property taxes. So that installment was due March 31st, but any payments that are made from April 1st to April 30th will have the penalty waived. And we're still keeping busy processing lots of transactions daily, by mail, phone, email, the Dropbox. And I'd just like to say, thank you to the residents for their patience and understanding during these times while we do work these transactions this way. But it is working, and we are still able to function and get this business done. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Janelle, and I'm sure we all share your
You're welcome.
appreciation of the patience of Des Moines County residents.
I believe Gina Harden and Krista Miller are back on there. So.
Gina Harden, Emergency Management.
Good morning.
Good morning, Gina.
A couple things. In a general news sense, not COVID, the river forecast, we were going down on the Mississippi River, but unfortunately we are coming back up again. Hopefully we will crest again over the weekend and slowly go back down. We shouldn't get to that major river flood stage, but it is spring. If we start to get a lot more rain, then it could go back up again. Regional planning is still working on our hazard mitigation plan, and as far as I know, they're still on track to get that completed and submitted before the deadline. So a shout out to Zach and his team there for working on that. And last week you also asked about the DOT closures on Highway 34 here at the Great River Bridge, and they are working on that and have individual lane closures, depending on the day. It looks like that is going to go through October 26th, so it'll be all summer and obviously into early fall. I highly recommend people look at the Iowa DOT 511 webpage and go to construction, and they can see what the DOT is doing there. And they have their lane closures and et cetera on there. So they have signs out, and we'll have that all posted for people that are traveling, so they can keep an eye on that with the detours and et cetera. Do you want me to go ahead and cover COVID also while I've got the line?
Sure.
Okay. Last Friday, I believe it was, Krista and I met with the Board of Health to have them prepare a declaration of need for non-congregate housing. That's one step that we needed to get accomplished for the public assistance funding in the event that we have to put people in like hotels and that type of thing. So we're working through that, and through those details I need to provide Iowa Homeland Security and Emergency Management more details on that. So we're working on that at this time. Our virtual EOC, I should have said this at the beginning, is still open. It is working really well to have public health, the hospital, and myself all together in one room. A big shout out to Krista to keeping us all calm and getting us through this. She's a great leader. We are ordering our personal protective equipment a couple times a week. We're not getting everything that we're asking for, so we're really trying to tell local agencies that we've been working with to try to source their equipment locally, or I should say locally, wherever they can get it. Because like I said, our supplies from the state and from the federal government are very, very small. But we're still trying to get as much as we can to help out as many of the agencies as we can. We're trying to put out information on Facebook. Krista's team is doing a good job putting stuff out on their public health page, and in turn we are turning around and sharing it on Emergency Management's page along with other items. It is still spring, and we're still expecting spring storms going into summer, so we're trying to get some weather-related stuff out there too, so we can't forget about that. And then the last thing that we had during our officials briefing yesterday, we talked about doing a proclamation, or having each city in the county do a proclamation, encouraging people to stay home and take protective action, basically, from COVID. So I think the city of Burlington did that last night at their council meeting, and I believe it's on your agenda, Tom, to do that today.
Sitting on the top.
Thank you for that.
It's sitting on the top of my pile of stuff here.
Okay, I will turn it over to Krista then.
Thank you, Gina, and thank you for following up on the Great River Bridge closures.
Bet.
Good morning.
This is Krista Poggemiller, Public Health. Morning, Krista.
Good morning. Hey, so I know the board and the elected officials are going to talk about the COVID proclamation today. Also, just want to really reiterate that we're kind of coming into a very critical time, and really encourage everyone in the community to do their part to help us flatten the curve. Currently, we still have just the one case in our community, and so we've had good participation from people out in the community to help us do that. There's also some guidance that we put up on our Facebook page, as well as the Des Moines County webpage regarding guidance on driving worship. And that's coming up this weekend. A lot of people are going to want to worship for the Easter holiday, and the guidance is there, and it talks about anyone, all these worship sessions should be done more in a drive-in kind of a service. Anyone attending needs to be in an enclosed vehicle, remain in the vehicle, in the same vehicle that they came in. Individuals cannot get out of their vehicle during any of those services. All windows, sunroofs, and convertible tops should remain closed, and no more than 10 people in a single vehicle, and they should be limited to people that live in the same household. So we wouldn't stop by and pick up our neighbor and take them to the services. We've posted that, like I said, on the Des Moines County website as well. And I want to thank Gina and Tammy from the hospital and all of our community partners for all that they've done to really help us work hard on this COVID situation. We're all in this together, and everyone's really participating to help hopefully keep this flatten the curve for our community.
Krista, did I hear you, did I hear you right, said there's only one case in Des Moines County?
Yes, we had one that thought was a case last week that Iowa Department of Public Health had noted as a case, and then what happens is they identify a case and then they move it down to our local health department, and we start our investigation, and through our investigation, we identified it was not actually a case, and so that case was retracted.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Krista.
Tom, this is,
Yes, Gina?
Tom, this, again, I just got an email that the city of Minneapolis also approved that, proclamation last night. So they're another city that has done the same thing.
Okay, thank you, Gina.
Lisa Schaefer, Des Moines County Attorney.
Lisa Schaefer, Des Moines County Attorney.
Good morning, can you hear me okay?
We can, and thank you for the proclamation everyone's talking about. Lisa wrote that with very little time yesterday afternoon after a phone call and did a fantastic job, so thank you for that.
No, not a problem. As Jackie pointed out, we obviously don't have a lot going on in the court system right now. We just received word earlier this week that trials, bench trials, those that are in front of only a judge, are not going to be slated to begin until June 1. And jury trials will not begin taking place until July 13. So what that means for us is we're actually pretty quiet for the most part. Even those who are being charged currently, nothing's really going to happen with their cases until summer. And so that gives us the opportunity to allow people to take some vacation that they might not otherwise have taken. We've reduced hours for our collections clerks based on the governor's proclamation, because they can no longer accept, or let me rephrase that, they can still accept voluntary payments, but they can do nothing to enforce delinquent court costs and financial obligations that have not been paid. So we put them at halftime. So they're still around to take in money, but they really can't do anything to actively try to collect on it. Our victim witness coordinators have agreed to each take 1 day a week of vacation, because a big bulk of what they do is send out court notices and work with us, the attorneys, on getting witnesses prepped for hearings and or trials, which obviously are not taking place. And so we social distance pretty well in our office anyway, because we all have our own offices. We've been pretty good, and there hasn't been a whole lot of interaction amongst us because there's nothing really to interact about. So we are just making sure that we have all of our ducks in a row and bracing for the storm that will come at the beginning of the summer. That's why I've encouraged staff to take vacations now. While I understand they can't really go anywhere, it's not the optimum spending of their hard-earned personal time. Once we do begin jury trials, we have the feeling we'll be going relentlessly non-stop through the remainder of the summer and into early fall. And vacations will just simply not be feasible at that time, at least for the attorneys and the victims. So we're plodding along, working on some projects that, that sit on the corners of our desk for a while until we have time. Now we have time, so we're getting caught up on some things, and just riding out the storm.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you for using that time to get ready for this summer, because I'm sure you're right about how busy you'll be, so thank you very much.
Natalie Steffner, Des Moines County Recorder.
Natalie Steffner, Des Moines County Recorder's Office.
Good morning, can you hear me?
We can, thank you, Natalie.
So we also are rotating some staff in and out of the office. We do have some stuff that we are able to work on at home, such as some old indexing records and also our e-recordings, which we've been doing quite a bit of those since we can't, file them, people coming into the counter. So yeah, just doing our part and getting some old stuff done as well. So that's all.
Thank you, Natalie.
Zach James and Jared Laster is on here as well for land.
Zach or Jared?
Hello,
Land use?
this is Jared.
Jared, we can hear you.
Hello, can you?
We can hear you.
Great. Good to hear. It's been, had a little technical difficulty last week, but I think I figured out, working with Colin, what I was doing wrong, so I was able to fix that. Land use has been pretty quiet, probably to be expected. We have had some inquiries, some phone calls, and there's a few things still going out there. We had to coordinate on filing paperwork for those cases that we had presented to the Board of Adjustment the week prior. One of those is going to involve some follow-up enforcement due to some property line questions, just to confirm compliance with the setbacks. We do have a subdivision, a minor subdivision, that's now out for review. It'll be a couple of weeks before that goes onto the agenda. So it's a pretty standard minor subdivision. We have nothing on the agenda today, but we do expect, we appeared to have found someone interested in filling that vacant Board of Adjustment seat, and in a nice coincidence, a nice turn of events, it appears that we can credit that to one of our current members of the board for recommending this person to us, and letting us check with him to see if the position would be good for him, and it seems like he's willing to do it. So we're going to plan on having that on next week's agenda. Apart from that, nothing really significant land use wise. I know we're also working on the update to the hazard mitigation plan, as Gina had mentioned earlier. I've been doing a lot of map work here in the office to get that some of the update the data and information that goes along with that, because that's the bulk of the changes we're making, is updating the data. And then Zach and Concha also have been helping out with getting the stuff together for the communities to review and update the assessment of the different hazards in the community. So we've been spending a lot of time getting that going. Assuming we'll go ahead with the same time frame for that, despite what's been going on lately. So I think we're moving ahead good with that. Land use ordinance updates kind of hit the back burner comparatively to that for the time being, but over the next couple of weeks I see a definite opportunity to get going on that, as we have more time available once we getting work going on the hazard mitigation plan. So apart from that, nothing significant, unless you have any questions.
I don't.
Thank you, Jared.
That's all.
All right, thank you.
That's it.
Okay. I think we missed anybody. COVID-19 update. We've got a proclamation. Yesterday, the Emergency Operations Center, we wanted to recommend and emphasize how important it is to practice some of these sanitation and social distancing guidelines. So we wanted to express that our desire that happen, and we're hearing from the both at the federal level and the state level that the next week or two might be kind of rough. So without further ado, whereas the Board of Supervisors recognizes the local, state, and national health emergency as a result of the coronavirus, COVID-19, and whereas, as a result of the continued spread of COVID-19, its significant progression in the state of Iowa, and the high risk it poses to the population of Des Moines County, the Board of Supervisors has issued protective guidelines by limiting person-to-person contact within county government. And whereas the COVID-19 disease, which is caused by a virus that spreads easily from person to person, and which may result in serious illness and death, which increase the threat of serious associated health risks. And whereas the worldwide COVID-19 pandemic and its progression continue to threaten the life and health of the citizens of Des Moines County, and whereas the Centers for Disease Control and the World Health Organization have issued recommendations to slow the spread and progression of COVID-19, which include 1. Avoiding unnecessary travel, 2. Avoiding unnecessary trips, but for the purchase of essential items and services, 3. Limiting contact to no more than 10 people in one place, 4. Maintaining a social distance from others of at least 6 feet, 5. Staying at home if you are at high risk to develop COVID-19 if exposed to the virus or exhibit any symptoms associated with the coronavirus, including but not limited to fever, cough, or sore throat. Now therefore, the Des Moines County Board of Supervisors strongly urges and recommends that the citizens of Des Moines County follow all of the above referenced recommendations of the Centers for Disease Control and the World Health Organization as they relate to the spread of the coronavirus, COVID-19, by not leaving their home or place of residence except 1, to conduct or participate in essential activities such as obtaining necessary supplies or services, and or 2, for employment and essential business services.
You need approval on that?
We do.
Move to approve that.
Second.
Terry?
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Bob Beck?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes. So, is there any more on COVID-19?
No, I just want to say that, I just hope everybody keeps their distance and does what they say, because we're pretty lucky in Des Moines County with only 1 case of it, so. Looks like everybody, I see doing, I went out to Dairy Cream the other night, and, so to get a Dairy Cream, and I'll tell you what, everybody was at least 6 to 10 foot apart, so. Otherwise, I wouldn't have went there.
I see a lot of people walking in the early evening, late afternoon, out walking and keeping, they'll walk maybe in the street, a couple, 3 people, and typically they're several feet apart, just to get out of the house and get a little fresh air and sunshine. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are making every effort to do this.
I think Mr. Carter's worried about the gas tax, getting that back. I'm doing my share, because we get in the car and we take a ride and we don't stop any place. We might drive for half an hour, 45 minutes, so I'm still burning gas. I'm helping you out, Brian.
We appreciate your donation.
You could just send us a check, Jim.
Yeah. I could.
A lot of kids not driving to school. That's, I'm sure, a part of it.
Yeah.
A lot of that education traffic is no longer moving.
Not going to work, or,
Some people not going to work.
Definitely slowed traffic.
Yeah.
That's probably one thing on the county level we don't talk about as much. The teachers have gotten pretty creative, or had to get pretty creative with all this going on, to try to, get education to kids, even though they're staying at home. I got one daughter in Burlington and one in West Burlington, and there's quite a bit of difference between the two on what they're doing, but they're getting really creative on still, setting up education for kids at home, so.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to hear that. Correspondence.
I have none.
I just had the thing that Chris had talked about, had that correspondence, went to that meeting, and that's about it. And of course, I had the correspondence from Tom and our lawyer.
Yeah.
On, how we handle fentanyl.
But that's, I think, I talked to Kathy, and I think we're probably gonna make that a little, it's, after the federal government spits something like that out in a hurry, it's hard to,
It's hard to act on a lot of that stuff.
Well, it's hard to act, it's hard to interpret some of that stuff, so I think we're gonna need one more clarification, but we're pretty close.
I like the way it was written. A normal person can understand it.
Well, I would love to take credit for that. but I can't. That's the attorney. We received notification from FEMA, and I am not gonna subject anybody to reading 3 pages of this. But, on August 27th, 2018, the Department of Homeland Security's Federal Emergency Management provided your community with preliminary copies of the flood insurance rate maps and flood insurance study report for Des Moines County, Iowa. They are issuing revised preliminary flood maps, which include the following changes: refinement of the special flood hazard area boundaries to seamlessly adjoin to the Louisa and Lee counties' special flood hazard area, and refinement of the special flood hazard area boundaries to reflect the Iowa Flood Center's analysis landward of non-accredited levees along the Skunk River. This is a notice that they would like to have any review and changes or comments submitted within 30 days of the date of this letter, and this letter was dated March 27th. So there's copies of this online. If you have any questions about this, Jared, are you still there? Is Jared still there?
He's watching, but he's not called in. Zach, but it shows Zach's still on here.
Zach, are you or Jared there? Okay, if I can't get a hold of them, I'm gonna ask them. If anybody has any questions about this or wants to see that, please call the auditor's office, and the auditor's office will give you the phone number of Zach. I don't know what else to do.
If that's the Skunk River thing down here,
yeah,
that they've been down that for quite some time.
They have, but they want someone to get a hold of them, if somebody can't come to the auditor's office.
Regional planning surely knows, because they've been handling.
That's what, she's just gonna give them regional planning's number, tell them to get a hold of Zach or.
Zach's phone number is 753-4313, I believe.
53-4313.
Okay, Zach James' phone number is 75. Hello?
Yep, Tom, I'm here. I apologize.
Zach, I'm gonna give them about this, these flood insurance maps. I doubt that anybody will get a hold of you, but I'm gonna give them your number if they have any questions about this.
Better check that number.
And your number is 319-753-4313.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's correct. So, anybody has any, questions about that, please call Zach. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, no problem, sir. I had trouble getting on.
We're gonna let it go this time. Thank you, Zach. Take care. Receipt to discussion and vote. We have accounts payable in the amount of $761,559.76.
Move to approve.
Second?
Terry? Bob Beck?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes.
And here's the revised for the payroll reimbursement.
Okay. And we have payroll reimbursement claims in the amount of $92.48.
Move to approve.
Second?
Terry?
Bob Beck?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes. We have personnel actions. We have 2 personnel actions for the county attorney. We have Tammy Anderson, collections clerk, furloughed to part-time hours due to COVID-19 governor's proclamation dated March 26, 2020. 37.5 hours worked per pay period. And we have Roberta Ford, collections clerk, furloughed to part-time hours due to COVID-19, Governor's proclamation dated March 26, 2020, 37.5 hours worked per pay period.
Move to approve both.
Second.
Terry?
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Bob Beck?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes. We have 2 personnel actions for the sheriff's office. We have Colton Atkins, a deputy, a 12-month step increase. Previous rate was $47,363.18. The new rate is $50,323.36. We have Thomas Seitz, deputy, 12-month step increase. Previous rate was $47,363.18. New rate is $50,323.36.
Move to approve.
Second.
Terry?
Bob Beck?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes. We have reports. We have the auditor's report of fees collected for the quarter ending March 31st, 2020. We have the general assistance monthly report for March 2020. We have the recorder's report of fees collected for March 2020 and the sheriff's monthly report for March 2020. These reports will be on file in the auditor's office and available for review once they're reopened. I suspect if it was some sort of a serious matter, you could email somebody a copy of one of these.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, 'cause we scan them into our,
they can scan an email, or somebody needs to
papers and
see one of these reports. We have minutes for the regular meeting of March 31st, 2020.
Move to approve.
Second.
Terry?
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Bob Beck?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes. And we have need to open a public hearing for the 2021 Iowa Department of Transportation Secondary Road Budget and 5-year construction program.
Move to open public hearing.
Second.
Terry?
Bob Beck?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Tom Broker?
Yes. Same as last week. If anybody has any comments during the public hearing for this the IDOT secondary road budget and 5-year construction program, we will patiently wait for a call or an email for 2 minutes. While we're waiting, Terry, did you have any comments, any written or phone comments?
No, I have not received any.
Yep.
You get any comments?
Nothing, and obviously I mentioned earlier, there very well could be some adjustments depending on our revenues.
There'll be what?
Adjustments depending on our revenues.
Oh, I see, yeah, sure.
I saw in your plan where you had lighting. You were talking about that last week, about lighting along 61.
Yep.
So what is all paved roads that we have on the highway gonna get?
Yeah, if the current one still doesn't work, or if the current one, whatever's there doesn't work out, then we'll come along, or if it's been removed in the process, utilities changing and stuff, then we're gonna come along and put something at each paving, so. Yeah.
Is today the DOT meeting or next week?
next Tuesday, that's why we were doing this week. Because I think you and I will need to step off somewhere and do a Skype to be part of that, or maybe go to, I think sounds like you might need to speak on behalf of the coalition.
Oh, yeah?
How all that'll work, but, I don't know if we'll have to go up to the chamber or what we'll do. So it's not like we're driving anywhere, if they're doing everything online. So.
Give a good speech. You might wanna start with 7 years ago, that's the way you had to start.
I'll let you and Tom work on that.
I may let him speak. We may give, Della a call after this meeting.
That's fine. There was an email about it too from Brenda. Did you see that last week? Let me see if you got it or not.
Okay, we have, 5 minutes. There is apparently no public comment, so we need to close the hearing.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second?
Terry?
Bob Beck,
Yes?
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Tom Roper.
Yes. Okay, we need a motion to approve the 2021 Iowa Department of Transportation Secondary Road Budget and 5-year construction program.
Move to approve the 2021 IDOT secondary road and budget, 5-year construction program.
Second.
Terry?
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Bob Beck,
Yes.
Tom Roper.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're eternally welcome, Mr. Carter. Thank you for all the work you do.
Most of it.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Ryan.
Hurt my feelings.
Yeah, that'll happen. Does this, do you want these stamped?
You can do whatever you want. If you want to stamp it, go ahead.
Be careful, Joe.
They're gonna be signed in blue.
Doesn't matter. Anymore, what we do is we leave a signed copy with Terry. I take signed copy back, it just goes in our paper file, and actually Julie ultimately pushes a button. And that is, it's all electronic now, it's just, obviously you guys need to approve it and have a public hearing.
Okay. We don't have to sign it, good.
Stuff to do here. Yeah.
Bob, I just forwarded an email to you about it.
Huh?
I forwarded an email to
Okay.
you.
All right.
You're gonna wanna take a look at it.
I think we requested a spot on the,
We're on for 8:45, it's only gonna be an hour-long meeting. And it's on Skype, I believe.
Any other business?
I have none.
and
Future agenda items.
I'm contacting, because this is child abuse prevention month, and through all of this, I had gotten an email, and it just dawned on me that we need to do a proclamation. I emailed the person that normally contacts me to see if maybe they, you know, if it's the same proclamation, so most likely I'll probably have that on the agenda next week.
That's good.
Proclamation for that, so.
Get everybody shut in the house, and there's some mental health issues, and everybody just, Committee reports.
Things were a little slow this week.
I just had another with the, new region trying to get joined with the, Iowa Workforce Development, but, we're just waiting on signatures from a couple of the other counties, Scott County and when we get that done, I think Scott County's the last one, then we're gonna move forward with it. The timelines, they keep changing the timelines, you know, they said we had to have it all done, you know, by the 15th of this month, now they pushed it up to, next month, May. So, we don't know they don't know what's going on with everything else, so. Nothing new to report on.
The Emergency Operations Center's been holding, daily Zoom meetings, and we've, addressed, you know, the status of, resources available at Great River Hospital and, PPE, personal protective equipment deliveries. You never get as much as you ask for, but we've been getting some deliveries of that, and, purchased some hand sanitizer. We're made some arrangements for if there's, emergency housing for, first responders. So, Gina and Krista are doing a great job. Then it's, you know, we've got emergency responders, mayors, so that's a good group. Public input. If anybody from the public would like to address the board, we will set aside 2 minutes here, and you're free to contact us online, send an email, or by phone, and we will wait 2 minutes to make sure everybody gets a chance to, put any input they'd like to do, make any comments they'd like to make. While we're waiting, I guess I would just remind everybody to do what you can, be patient and gentle with your families and your friends and neighbors and the people you run into. Everybody's in the same situation.
I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for my neighborhood. When neighbors are outside, they don't leave their yards, you know, they talk back and forth from yard to yard, or driveway to driveway.
Well, the warm weather has definitely picked up traffic out by me.
Yeah.
Walking.
They do a lot of walking out there, but they're not, they're quite a ways apart.
All the families.
All families.
Yeah, generally.
See a lot of bicycles in town, kids riding bicycles.
Yeah, golf carts.
Tom, you want me to post this proclamation on the website?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, maybe I'll just do an individual newsflash just for the proclamation.
Yeah, and, you might wanna give Gina a call, or I'm sure the paper has a copy of it.
Yeah, I plan on scanning it in and sending it out to all the media, so.
That'd be great. Well, the 2 minutes are up, so, without further ado, and like I said, be careful and be patient with each other. We are adjourned.